both of you have, I'm going to use this word, but you guys are at an influential place now in your respective careers. Do you think there is a need, or do you feel obligated to create a safe space for the newcomers, for the younger generation?
Well, he already did for me.
Yeah, I'll go first. I think it is absolutely necessary. If you have the ability to not only make space for, but mentor and uplift and empower, I think it is your responsibility. I didn't get to where I am on my own. It took a lot of people supporting me. It took a lot of doors being opened for me in the beginning. I mean, I walked through them, let's be honest. Like I always joke around that like there were some very monumental people that helped me start my career, but I built my career myself. I continuously believe that you have to put good into the world in order for good to find you. So that's sort of how I like to look at that. But diversity, inclusion, representation, I mean, especially being a member of the queer community, there's not enough of that out there for us. And so I find myself constantly leaning into spaces where I can do that or offer different perspective. I mean, I'm very much like you, where I'm not going to be fraudulent. I'm just not. It's not in me. If I don't like you, I'm not going to make it public.
Exactly,
like I'm not going to be nasty or unprofessional or immature about it, but I'm also not going to like sit beside you and ask you how your day's been going. No thanks. I'll just sit beside you. I don't have to be your best friend. Like it's I think that finding ways to like get along with people without it being confrontational is very important, but making space for others is also extremely important.
Yeah, there was a part of me that felt like when not to make this about my diagnosis or whatever, but when I was finally diagnosed and had, the support of my physician and mental health professionals, I wanted to go back to employers. There was this feeling in my gut that I was like, I want to go back to my employers and explain to them why I am the way that I am, or why I made decisions that I did, because I'm sure if I'm thinking of this one particular role, like if I was on a trajectory to be very successful in that organization, and when I came to them, I felt like it was probably blindsiding to them, but I couldn't at the time put words to how I was feeling about staying in that position, and just I didn't feel like it was for me. And now I'm at a point where, with Olive Branch Mentorship and being a mentor, which is still very weird for me to call I am not a mentor, but I guess I am.
No,
I guess I am.
You absolutely are.
24 years in healthcare. Yeah, 24 years in healthcare. It's all I've ever done.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
I mean, I did work at a tanning salon in the 2000s. But other than that, a healthcare only. And I would say easily the thing that I struggled with the most was maintaining healthy interpersonal relationships and maintaining a healthy work-life balance.
Now that we're drifting into past a little bit, let's go a little further. I do have a question again. When you guys were young and you were like, just kind of...
Here we go.
When we were young.
Back when they were dinosaurs.
Like when you were starting off and you were like figuring out your ways, what were some of the biggest red flags you found on people trying to mentor you or who were in position of authority and were influential?
Ooh, red flags. That's interesting.
So, I like to believe people are inherently good and that they don't have ulterior motives. I've been burnt many times because of that. Red flags to me are if you portray yourself in one way and then when I actually start to get to know you, you are the exact opposite. That's a big red flag for me.
Big time.
So I guess that goes back to the authenticity thing. I think overcommitting as well. That's something I'm really guilty of. I'm going to be super honest. I take on way too much and then I'm not able to give the attention that I deserve to be giving you if I'm offering a mentorship opportunity or a guiding opportunity. Red flags just in general are like, just be who you say you are. If you can't do it, don't do it. Right. And if you're trying to be kind, be kind. Don't actually be a horrible human being offline. That's a big red flag for me. Let's
say what you mean what you say. That's a good general rule of thumb. But I think I've been very fortunate in the people that I have identified as mentors. And I mean, this is for another podcast for another day, but I had a very tumultuous childhood where there was a lot of separation and a lot of inconsistencies in my parenting structure. And I found that I leaned on my teachers a lot. All throughout grade school and whatnot, I was like definition of teacher's pet. And, speaking of speeches, I can remember vividly grade 5. I don't know how old you are in grade 5.
So
but
it's your age plus, the grade plus 5. So grade 5, you'd be 10.
Oh, okay. So I was 10 years
Yeah.
old, and we had a book report that we had to read in front of the class. But I had convinced myself that reading it wasn't going to be good enough. I had to memorize my book report.
Oh, boy.
And,
Yeah.
speak this book report in front of the class in grade 5. Yeah. But it was like, I got to make sure that the teacher likes me the best. And, like I would hyper fixate on things. And I just remember the amount of pressure that I had created for myself to memorize this book report, and then afterwards going up to the teacher and being like, did I get an A+? And she would put the red plus sign beside the A. And so I mean, a lot of the weird little things that I did as a child really sort of set me up, I think, for the sort of future of my professional success, but I think it had a lot to do with my perfectionism and having this intense, desire to be perfect in everything that I did. And obviously that developed an anxiety disorder and all of those
Does
things.
perfectionism ever really work? Like, have you ever had a plan and be like, yeah, that's exactly what
Loaded question. Everyone loves the idea of being a perfectionist. I don't think anybody understands how incredibly crippling it can be. Mm-hmm. For example, I mean, I still struggle with this. I hold myself to an incredibly high standard.
Same.
And when I don't meet my own standards, or when my personal life has to take priority over my professional, I feel like a complete failure.
Same.
Like, it is very debilitating. So
Yeah.
I appreciate the idea of being perfect, but I think we all have to kind of accept that that's just not possible.
Well, and I mean, you're probably the perfect person to ask about this, having so much of your life on social media and so much of your life in the public eye. How does that impact your mental health? How does that impact your imposter syndrome? How does that impact, this idea of perfectionism for you?
So it's interesting because I think over the years, we have all developed a little bit more vocabulary around the idea of social media. And for a lot of us out there, and it's not to dismay this, but for a lot of us, we only share the good. Mm-hmm. And it's very easy to share the good because you want it to be this beautiful memory of what your life is. And unfortunately, that's just not what being human is. Over the years, I've made mistakes. I have overshared to the point of seeking validation from followers and readers and people that followed along with me on my career path. And I'm doing better at that. Navigating personal hardship is very, very difficult because you want to, well, at least how I'm trying to go through those moments when they arise is I want to be respectful of the situation and the people that are involved. I think there's no playbook. That's really what it comes down to. You're allowed to be human,
exactly
right?
It. There is no rule book for this stuff.
No.
Social media and your followers, they're definitely your community. And now that we have started OBM as well, and things we put out there, does it ever, for me, I am very conscious of what I'm putting out there, especially in a negative sense, the bad part of my life, things that I'm struggling with, or my
dating and job search and all of that stuff.
Because not every day you're putting a happy picture out there. Mm-hmm. I went to Pride and everybody was like, yeah, she's living the best life. Mm-hmm. But hey, I went into work immediately after. People
you had a
are
night
not
shift to go to.
Yeah, people don't see that. So do you is it a good, and I feel responsible. It's I don't want to put my negative emotions out there in the community. I don't want to be able to portray, or you need to share my struggles.
And is that important? Is it important for you to put yourself out there vulnerably sometimes from a relatability and from a normalizing narrative?
Yeah. Where do we decide how much of the community support we need?
That's a good question.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is going to be on a person by person basis. Mm-hmm. I cannot speak for all members of the media and all content creators and all peoples on the internet. I am very, very, very vulnerable at times. Mm-hmm. I'm facing and have been facing a serious health scare, and I've been very open about it online, and it's been extremely overwhelming in my personal life. But I also know, like you were mentioning, that at a certain point of achievement and success, by doing that, there is someone that follows me that is probably going to have lived something similar that will feel more seen and be able to possibly express themselves in a better way. That's the responsibility that I take with my career. It's a lot of fun and it's a lot of fluff, and I get to do really silly, stupid things, and I love every minute of it. But I also really want to be relatable.
Yeah.
There are a lot of content creators that are friends of mine that don't share anything personal, and that's just what they choose. I don't think there's a right or wrong. I think it's a comfort level. I have let people into very difficult moments in my life, and I believe I will continue to do so. Just that's who I am as a person. I think if you are comfortable sharing that, great, but don't feel that there is a necessity to share it.
Yes, it's like everybody defines their own tribe, and you'll just be able to, find like-minded people, I guess, right?
Accepting like-minded people.
Yeah, I mean, not to address the elephant in the room, but the internet is full of egg accounts that are going to quickly tear you down because they believe that they are empowered to do that, no matter what you share.
That's my question, though. Like, when you do put your vulnerability out there, for example, you share a deep moment with OBM success or something that you've been struggling with.
And I'm an emotional basket case over things. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I've cried on the internet. Once.
Oh God, I do it regularly.
Well, I'm sure it's going to happen a lot more.
Well, how many people are actually out there passing you Kleenexes or like just throwing eggs at you? What is the response you guys are getting from social media right now?
So obviously we operate in separate spaces, and there is an interconnectivity to us, and I appreciate that. I think it depends on the platform, at least from my experience. So as a openly member of the queer community and who loves fabulous nails and changing my style and wearing things that I'm just really comfortable with. I have a pair of pink patent leather heels that I loved wearing. Can't walk in them, but I love wearing. And when I share things like that, let's say on TikTok, it is visceral garbage fire hate, like just really horrible things.
I'm not on TikTok yet.
Yeah, good luck.
I don't know if I want to.
But I'm also a 40-year-old on TikTok, so I've got to take it with a grain of salt, right? I'll never forget. I shared my first ever TikTok, and it was a post about my relationship and about I was so excited to start my family. And the first comment ever on my first TikTok ever was an egg account, so no profile photo. It was like user 4275_9. And they were like,
to user 427979 if you're a good
and
person.
they were like, I work in Canadian adoption. I will make sure you F-bombs never get a baby ever. First comment.
Stop it.
And I was like, oh, okay, so that's what this is.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, I'm so sensitive. I'm really nervous about that.
Did you open their account and they had like a verse from some religious script on their bio?
No, so just no bio, no nothing. All of their followers also have user 72_!5. Like
this is another.
This is the thing. People hide behind the internet, right? And they hide behind the strength of that they think that they have. Now, I'm also basically an FBI agent, and if you do have a photo, I will take a screenshot and I use the Google Lens photo on my Google Pixel, and I can reverse find you, and I'll find your LinkedIn, and I'll find your employer.
Good.
So if you ever do come at me again with another comment, trust me, there's an email going your way.
Stop it.
Yeah,
I love this.
Yeah, no. But I mean, listen, when I first started, those hurt. And I'm going to be really honest with you. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's just the world that we live in.
It's already happening, I'm sure.
But as you get more comfortable on the internet and putting your opinions out there as a human being, that's what this is, right? These are opinions. These are lived experiences. I'm not an expert. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a lawyer. Like, you take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I really wonder what my colleagues think about me. Like, I really
Well, get ready for user 1825_5 because they're coming.
Yeah, I really wonder what my colleagues think about me. I'm sure they think I'm absolutely insane.
And fabulous.
There is a part of me that is insane, but I feel like I'm doing the thing that I'm supposed to be doing for the first time in my life.
Daniel,
what
has
a beautiful
comments
feeling.
Yeah.
That's beautifully said, by the way.
I share that a lot. I went through a pretty hard year last year, 2013. Holy doodle, 2023. 2013 wasn't a great year for me either. But anyway, 2023 was a really bad year for me. And I had sort of like an epiphany out of body experience thing that had occurred. And again, that'll be for another day. But, and then a few days later, actually, maybe now's a good time that I allude to the reason why you're such a good podcast host. Sham was a
yapper.
student of mine and a few semesters back, and I was teaching, what was the class? Issues in Health Leadership or something?
Probably.
I don't
I'll
know
agree with you.
what the course was called, but anyways, they could choose to do a presentation on any issue in leadership, any issue. And she chose to do her presentation on the difference between Gen Z and millennial leaders. And you grinded my gears the entire presentation, like Professor does. And anyways,
I assumed her age, by the way.
I just want everybody listening and watching to understand that she's not ageist. She doesn't hate millennials.
Oh,
This is
no, no.
obviously a running joke.
I
but,
love
like,
them. I love
not
them.
at all.
I firmly believe that millennials are the most fascinating creatures to walk on Earth.
This
you
was her
also are the most
presentation.
beautiful, by the way. It's been proven on
Yeah,
TikTok.
apparently. Yeah, we're like aging in reverse.
And the sheer obsession they have with Gen Z is amazing.
I think it's an
love
equal
it.
obsession. I think Gen Zs are
I'm just
obsessed
saying,
with millennials.
I love that like Gen Zers are like, oh, these are new skirt over pants. And it's like, we've done that, actually.
you seen-
We did it. You're copying us.
Yes. And have you seen-
Oh, the wristbands that
Oh.
are like socks? We did that.
Same.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Have you seen the
No, I don't know what that is.
Oh,
So,
no. You know-
for those of you who didn't hear it, it was like a spitting sound away from
it
the mic.
was the Missy Elliott.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
That's
yeah.
a whole thing right now where
What do you mean that's a whole
Shaq,
thing?
I think that's what his name is. SHAQ.
Shaq.
Shaq. He went out on a date with the girl who actually did that. I saw the thing today.
Wait a minute.
Anyway,
like, did the
yeah, so
audio
now
on
all
the
the-
song?
No, the girl was
Oh,
being
she
interviewed
horked.
on the street. And
Sorry,
she,
that's the word that we used. I don't know if that's an
Horked. That is the word.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the word.
What's the word?
Horked. It's like a t.
Yeah.
You guys are word for words. Like, it's so complicated.
Okay, they've invented an entire new language.
I know,
but
and
we're
she's saying we're
complicated.
complicated. Yeah. So anyway, that's the whole thing now is these Gen Zs are talking about like they made it
Horking.
up. Like they made it
No.
up. No, we've been since Missy Elliott.
I need you to just stop doing that noise, though. I'm gonna I'm gonna. I mean, it's just Dan's in the back. He's just right behind you, and all he's hearing is that sound over and over and over again,
loves it.
and
I'm
he's
gonna
loving
take
it.
my headphones
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm done with the
Yeah. No. Listen. I appreciate. There is such. I really appreciate that this generation has such confidence and such awareness of themselves and vocabulary to express who they are and express their genders and their sexual preferences and all of those things. I mean, I wish I would have had half of that knowledge when I was growing up. But
same.
It is also the bold audacity that like they've invented digital cameras and how dare we millennials?
Listen, we only get them cheaper on Temu or whatever that app is. That's
Yeah.
the only
I
reason.
have a digital camera plugged in, and I have every intention of taking that SD card to plug it in to see what's on it because I have
I guarantee
no
it's
idea.
a lot of these in the club. Sweaty. We were
Probably very sweaty
messages. Yeah.
at like the Boom Boom Room or something.
Oh
in
my God.
Windsor,
And then you
yeah.
would go home after the club that night because
Yeah.
you had to be the first person to post the photos and you would post an entire Facebook album of photos.
100 photos
1000%.
at least.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna take them back. So, I have a question with that actually. Millennials. There was a concept. I don't know where I read it,
Millennials.
but during my presentation,
Yes, pull the statistics.
I kind of read that millennials were brought up with the concept of rewards, validation, rewards.
What's
Is that-
reward?
No, rewards. Rewards. There we
Oh,
go.
sorry. I thought you said reward.
I am Indian. I have an
Yes, you
accent.
do have an accent
So sorry.
sometimes.
So
Just, I mean, that's right, Dan. She's just making up words. That's fine. That's
That's
fine.
normal.
So like